Hi there, doodle birds. I'm here to move you again. Watch out, I believe that fence is turned on. Hi farm friends, it's Saturday evening after market day, and it's time for me to move these doodles onto some fresh grass. By way of an update, this is our free range pasture system this year. They began their journey over there behind those barrels where you can see the fence there making a U-turn, and have migrated their way up the hill paralleling this old fence that's over here behind the electric netting, and you can see that there has been an impact on the ground behind them. Furthest away, it looks least impacted. Closer to the chickens, most impacted. And they know what time it is. So let me just get right to the point and get them fed and get them moved. What's going to happen is I'm going to take this tractor or shade shelter right here and pull it forward onto fresh grass so that where they sleep tonight, hashtag right under there, is not full of chicken poop. Because much like babies, chickens poop a lot at night. Who knew? But we're going to avoid them having to sleep in their poop tonight and every night by keeping them moving. So step one is always the same: turn off the electric fence. When I get back, I'll take those feeders that are empty, move them out here onto some fresh grass, fill them, and all the chickens will go straight to there, because a Cornish cross loves a good meal. And then I will carefully pull this forward and place it over them without stepping on anybody. And the final step will be to dump out these waterers back here, because they do invariably get gook in them, dirt, and a lot of things falling from the trees or being scratched up into the water by the chickens, because there was a lot of leaf litter in this grass because all this shade over their situation. So let me go turn the fence off, find a good place to put y'all where you can watch, and I'll get it done. Cornish cross, well, any meat chicken for that matter, has a really good appetite because they grow very fast. And so today they're going to get a good high quality feed that has everything they need in it, and still some room for them to collect some bugs. Let's see, each one of those scoops is about 5 pounds, and that's 4 scoops, so that's 20 pounds, 40 pounds, almost an entire bag of feed every day. And I promise you, when we get over there, those feeders are empty, because they empty them every day. I am apparently their best friend. All right. Please don't knock that over. I'm going to go get your feed. Make room. There's two reasons why I put their feed up underneath the shelter. One is so that they can eat while sheltered. The other is in case, sheltered from the sun. And the other is in case of rain. I don't want their food getting wet. Well, I don't want it getting moldy. They don't mind wet, but sometimes they don't want to eat it when it's wet unless they're really hungry. So it may sit a while. And I just assume they have it straight out of the trough the way that it is, so that they can have nice fresh water instead of potentially yucky water. And water is the next step in this process. So these drinkers are little giant drinkers, and I really like them for a number of reasons. Number one is they have a really good capacity. These are 7 gallons, and 2 of these provides more than enough water for them to consume in a day. And they're easy to fill. Well, not easy to fill, hard to spill, let's say that, because they're nice and heavy. The drinkers that you can see underneath here, those red ones, those were a no-name hanging waterer. They're called a bell waterer, and the springs inside the valve mechanism rusted. So it's a great type of waterer. I clearly should have spent more money on the name brand. Now, I did get a good adjustment from the reseller of these Chinese-made drinkers, and they sent stainless steel springs. But having had those failures last year and using these instead, which I have used in the past for many of my birds, I decided to just go ahead and stick with what I know, and this way I don't have to worry that the valves are malfunctioning and have birds suffering of heat stroke, because we're in that time of the year. Well, we're in that time in 2026 where it's really volatile, but today it was about 85 degrees, and it's a really bad day to not be hydrated, especially if you don't have any control over your hydration. So we close this thing off right here. That way, when I take the lid off, nothing flows out. And a secret to using these things on a slopey terrain is to make sure that the outlet is always pointing downhill. If you put it on the high end, it will just glurt, 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 and all the water will disappear, and you will wonder how that number of chickens drank so much water so fast, because it really only takes a few minutes to drain out if you just walk away from it. So I always make sure that I point the opening downhill. It doesn't have to be perfect. Actually, imperfect is a little better. That way you can get deeper water all the way around. If it's too slopey, you won't get any. So you can dial the opening there, right? If you're thinking of it as a clock face and that's 6 o'clock, you can turn it over to 9 and watch it. And if it fills up nice and level, then you're golden. If it drips over the side, you got a problem waiting to happen. So I'm going to stop talking now and go ahead and take care of these. And there we go. So this is what the ground looks like behind them. This was the part of the ground that was underneath the shelter before I moved it. And you can see that compared to that grass right there, which has been mowed actually, and this over here, which has been chickened, it's much different. So they've left behind a lot of poo, and you can see here it's a deeper layer right here, because after they feed, they like to come back and lay down, and a lot of them will, all of them will be thirsty after eating, and they're going to come down here and take a drink. And well, there's water, and there's water where I just emptied the drinkers, and you can see poop all around here, and less poop as we get up towards this end. And if we go far enough up, obviously you can see much more green grass. And I think at the beginning of this video, hopefully you could see that even though they have this 8x16 shelter, they do range pretty widely within it. In fact, usually they'll run back and forth. Before I feed them, they will follow me wherever I go. And we probably got some of that on camera too. So as this shelter moves a little every day, eventually I will reach the end of the fencing, and I will pull up this fencing here and bring it with us and close them off in the distance there towards the fence, into the fence down there. So the idea is that throughout their life they have plenty of access to bugs and what's that? That looks like a tulip poplar, and anything that they can find that they might find interesting to eat. They eat grass, they do chase bugs. They're chickens. They just are a very special chicken that grows very fast and is quite delicious. Even more delicious when they have lots of fresh green grass to forage on. And we have a lot of it here. All this impact that the chickens are leaving on the ground as we cross the pasture will result in an amazing deep green, tall pasture next year. It takes a while for this to recover. You could probably already see brown, and as we go further down to where they first began, more green. It's already started to recover that first area where I started them at a right angle to how they are now. Grass is already recovering over there, and it'll be just as green and lush as all of this around here, only greener and lusher. And that will translate into better nutrition for the next critter that gets to walk around and eat it. And I think that'll probably be sheep, but there's a good chance it could be pigs, because you know I love my pigs, and they love grass. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for dropping in and viewing. If you made it this far, you might like this kind of stuff. So go ahead, if you haven't, hit the like and subscribe button so you won't miss an update. And there's a lot of content coming with those little dudes right there and all their little siblings and cousins, because they have a lot of cousins. It's piglet season around here, and they're the future of this farm. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great day.